Hi guys, it's Matt from 16-Bit Bench. Got something fun to play with today. It's one of these like 501 Famicom clones, a portable one. I think it's super funky because it's in the like gold Famicom sort of style. Problem with this one is it doesn't like to work very much. So there we go. So any pressure down in this lower area here will kind of cause it to crash, which is annoying because that's where the start button is. See? So I'm thinking there's a dry joint or something with a chip down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it open, we're going to unscrew it, and we're going to see if there's anything that we can fix or we can resolder. Back pulls off nice and easy. 3 AAA batteries or a Nokia rechargeable battery. I think you can even has a recharge. It has a micro USB on it, so I think you might be able to recharge. This socket here is for an AV cable. You should actually play it on a screen. It comes with this little cartridge. It's not actually a cartridge, so it fits in here. I've opened it up, and inside is just a jumper board. So what I think it's doing is it's shorting out some pins or taking some pins low, and then booting from a second ROM inside the cartridge, and that loads up a whole list of separate games. But to be honest, none of the games are particularly amazing, and you have to kind of puzzle your way through what things are. Like there's one called Mario 3, which is not Mario 3, but for something that just cost a few pounds from eBay, it's pretty fun. My only major gripe with it is the screen cover is just some kind of cellophane. It's really needs to be a solid plastic screen. Screws out. Yeah, that guy is stuck. There we go. Okay, so there's the front with the key membranes. Then we've got 5 screws, and it's the off switch. Don't want to lose that. Little black screw goes behind the screen. I think if you mix those up, you'll be screwing a screw into the back of the screen. Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 silver screws and 1 black one. So on the top, yeah, there's a little bit of flux on the board, really nothing too bad. Should we try powering up in this with the cover off and see what happens? Oh, there we go. So it's almost like pressure on the screen is causing the problem. Yeah, it's almost like this ribbon cable down here is what's causing it to crash. Any pressure there. See, when I actually have direct control of the buttons, like pressure is going directly on the button, not on the case. Behaves a lot better. Oh, there we go. Killed it again. Yeah, so what we're going to want to do is get on the other side of this board and see what's going on, because something behind that's definitely not happy. I much prefer the music on the Chinese menu to the music on the English menu. Right, yeah, so let's get this board up. I've seen under here before, there's two wires that come off the battery compartment. We'll need to desolder those first before we can actually get underneath. Probably what we want to do is take the batteries out before we go any further. It's my fingernail. Pair of tweezers. Actually, let's get a pair of pliers. There we go, that's one. Let's try tweezers for this bit. I was right the first time. There we are, so that's the battery compartment released. Looks like there's just two screws that are holding the board down, so let's take those out. So this should just lift up. There we go. Yeah, so right under where that connector is for the screen is some kind of CPU. Gonna get some kind of microcontroller. Yeah, I can see something funny on some of the pins there. Yeah, let's get the phone and I'll give you guys a closer look. Ooh, focus. Focus. So you can see here on this chip there's something funky with some of the legs there. Overall there's just a load of flux residue on this all around here, which is probably not making it very happy. Yeah, the workmanship is just crap, to be honest. Yeah, but that should make troubleshooting pretty easy. I mean, step one is to remove all this flux, because flux is conductive. So if you don't clear excess flux from your board, it can cause exactly these kind of problems. And then we'll need to look at these two legs down here and see if they're actually needed, if we need to do anything. Looking at the traces on the board, there's no traces in that area, so it may be that those two legs aren't used. And then I think I'm just going to get a fine tip on my soldering iron and just carefully go through one by one and reflow those legs. Okay, so let's clean off the residue. I still have yet to find the little pipe for my Pro, so still one. Just gently, because if any of those legs are not in properly, you're very easy to rip them off with the toothbrush there, so let's not do that. Then I'm going to take a cotton swab and we're just going to see if we can pick up some of that flux residue, and yes we can, it's filthy. It's amazing how few components are on these things. I mean, if you crack open a original Game Boy, or even a DS, or a PS Vita or anything, there's way more chips in them than there are in these things now. It must have got to the point where the economies of rolling your own system on a chip just are there. Like it's affordable now for these Chinese manufacturers just to roll their own system on a chip. I mean, if we look at this under this gob here, we've got some kind of going to be some kind of EEPROM. Then we've got a microcontroller of some description. I mean, I could look up the number, might do that, and link it in the description. And that's it. Crystal and some discretes. That's all there is. A switch and a screen. There's nothing else. And if you look at the button configuration, there's way more buttons on it than you actually need on a Famicom. So that means that you could use this board to upgrade whatever's under here or whatever this chip is, upgrade them to a more powerful version, and you could be emulating Super Nintendo or Genesis, Mega Drive, PlayStation, or one of these things. So someone's obviously invested time and effort into what is potentially a flexible platform for retro handhelds. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got all the gunk off. I can feel my Q-tip is very sticky. So what I'm going to do is find my precision tip for my soldering iron, and then we will reflow that chip. I think what I'll do is I'll zoom in a little bit as well, so you guys might be able to get a better look. Hey guys, so zoomed in a little bit. I don't know, it doesn't do you a lot of good. Just me, you can't really see anything anyway. I've put on my funky magnifying glass headset thingy so I can see what I'm doing. And yeah, let's just take a look at that first. It's just one of these thingies, which I think I got for about 20 quid on Amazon. But yeah, for this kind of detail work, really is invaluable. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fine tip solder tip and just go touch each pin, no lateral movement whatsoever. So yeah, with this kind of pitch is really hard. I mean, I'd really want to avoid doing any kind of work on this kind of pitch just because it gives me a headache for the main reason. But yeah, it's a major pain. It's not designed to work for humans, really. It's for reflow ovens and stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's crack on. You can't see it, but I've managed to do a bridge, which is less than ideal. So if I can just stroke it out. No, making it worse. Okay, so I'm going to grab some solder wick and see if I can get that bridge off. So I've got some superfine solder wick, 0.8mm. Not a lot of it left, to be honest. I have mixed results with solder wick, to be honest. I much prefer a solder sucker if there's if it's possible. I don't really like solder wick. It's never really worked for me very well. But yeah, let's give it a go on this. See if we can suck some of that up. What I might do is grab flux pen. Just dab a little bit of flux. And it looks like I've removed the bridge. But let's try with the continuity meter and just make sure those two pins aren't actually connected. Yeah, there's still a bridge there. Really hard to see, can't see it. Okay, so it looks like I've fixed that bridge that I caused, so no harm, no foul. We've reflowed all the pins on both sides of this chip, and the reason I think it's this chip is because it is directly below where we pushed before. to be honest, this board is not brilliantly designed, just because it's in this. There we go. It's in this U configuration, which means you've got this big empty gap here, which we don't actually need. It's not like there's a screen that's going in here. So yes, there's a big empty gap, which makes the whole board very flexible and very flimsy. So realistically, there should be some screws, more than the 2 screws that there are holding this down. So there should be 4 screws here to hold it to the case to give it rigidity. But yeah, I think that is as much as we can do for this little handheld. There's no other visible components. Like I said, there's what I'm going to guess is an EEPROM under this epoxy here. Impossible to get this off without destroying everything. So we're not going to look in there. But yeah, so the next thing to do is put it back together and see if it works. And hopefully we've improved the situation. But there's an equal chance that we've completely destroyed it. So let's toss a coin. Oh. Well, that's not happy. So we've made it considerably worse than it was. It doesn't look like it wants to work at all anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this foam and see what's under here. Maybe reflow the LCD as well. Okay, so just take a little picture with my foam. There you can see that's the ribbon connector for the LCD, and I'm just going to do the same I did with the chip and just reflow each of these pins. Right, so I've reflowed those pins. Let's put some matches in and check again. I don't have high hopes, because we seem to have made it worse. So I think there's probably something still wrong with that chip. Yeah, it's not starting up at all now. So all I can do now is just guess and try and reflow more components, maybe redo the legs one more time. Yeah, and see where we get to. Right, here we are. So this is like the 3rd or 4th time now I reflowed the pins on that chip. So let's turn it on. Okay, that's positive. We're back to where we were when we started the video. Oh, that's Chinese. Don't want to do that. Let's reset it. English. Just go through the menus. Okay, we used to be able to kill it just by pushing here, and now it looks a lot better. Let's just try and actually play a game. Not the easiest game to play upside down. Let's try something else. Did it again. What's Mario 3? Is that actually Mario 3? It is. Hey, jumped on camera. Okay, so it looks like we did it. So there we are. The fault was a dry or cracked or non-existent joint on the microcontroller. So what we did is just reflowed those pins with a fine soldered tip. Took a couple of goes at it. I bridged one by accident, realised that the pads are kind of slippy, so they move around on the board if you put any pressure on them. So the lesson here is really, it takes a delicate hand to do this kind of work. You need concentration. You need a magnifying glass or magnifying headset of some kind. So if you're looking to do this kind of work, you think you're a beginner or intermediate solderer, I would strongly suggest you look into getting something like this, or just a pair of magnifying glasses. Really, it made this job a ton easier. So all it remains now is to put the Famicom back together. And there we are, fixed it. Caught us surprised really. I think it says a lot about perseverance and sticking in there, making sure that you're doing things right, you're doing things carefully, you're looking and being aware of how tiny these things can be, and just to use a gentle hand. So that's the family pocket fixed. That's my own personal thing, so I'm quite happy about that. If you like the video, please like the video. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I'm trying to do 2 a week. It's taking up some time at the moment. I'm getting my hand back into editing, which is something I've not done for a long time. If you could follow us on Facebook at 16-Bit Bench. I post pictures and videos there, and we're also on Twitter, and I use Twitter a lot as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Christmas is here, yeah, Christmas is here. Grab a friend's hand and yank them near. It's the best time of the year. Christmas is here.